let him keep going, he's just going to grind you out. It's not always going to be pretty, but he's tough.
And Tim McGraw there taking control of the center of the combatagon there. Back and mark. Juarez up against the cage. Yeah, both of these guys, a lot of fast twitch movement, and that's what you expect to see out of this lighter Bantamweight 135 division. Lots of feints, lots of switchy movement here. And then before you know it, you blink, somebody's going to throw a knockout shot.
That was a nice little jab from Tristan earlier. Mark overreached just a little bit, and Tristan was able to pop him with a jab.
Yeah, it seems like Tristan is coming forward a little bit more with the pressure, forcing Mark to strike going backwards. Oh, that kick right there. But Tristan had his hands up, though.
Mark showing the flexibility and the versatility in his strikes.
Yeah, he didn't wind up, loosen up, or nothing like that. It came out of nowhere. And that's to be, like I said before, that's to be expected as a bantamweight. A head kick knockout could come out of nowhere.
A high kick from Tristan.
Right now, I want to see Mark not put his back to the fence as much. Own the center and make him start respecting the strikes. He's got long arms.
Cross-check that low kick.
There we go. That's nice. Counter with that kick. And now it's like just setting some feints up, putting some hands behind those kicks, and then try to really open him up.
There, Mark just kind of bit down on his mouthpiece and
come forward. That's what you need to do. Just a little bit more intelligently with those strikes. But sometimes you got to bite down and come forward, because the more that your opponent backs you up, man, the more that their confidence builds.
Yeah.
You don't want a confident, fighter coming at you, feel like they could do whatever they want and have their will with you. You want to get some respect in there.
Tristan is precision and meticulous, so he's not going to get in a hurry.
Yeah, no, he's definitely cautious as he picks his strikes.
That was a nice little setup.
That one landed a little more.
Right Tristan. Leg and then a hook. Now Tristan didn't move into the hook, but I like what Mark was doing right there, because it shows that he's thinking about the next series as well.
Yeah, if that kick lands for Mark Juarez, man, it's lights out there for Tristan McGraw.
Nice uppercut to the body from McGraw. Tristan doing a good job of keeping his hands up, because lots of stuff Mark's throwing accurately, but it's landing on the guard of Tristan.
And I was just about to say, who's going to shoot the first takedown here as the first 3 minutes of this round goes by?
I like what Mark is doing. He didn't just stay on his knees. For a second he was there, but then he started fighting to get back, get in position, and then he got up. Because you see a lot of fighters, they shoot and they get sprawled on, and then they just kind of stay there.
Yeah, no. Continue to work your way up, continue to drive forward. Yeah, this is definitely a calculated technical bout out of both of these fighters. A fighter who's 0-1 versus a fighter, making his debut. If I'm just looking at this without looking at info sheet, I never would have guessed that this was a debut guy versus an 0-1 guy.
Evidence of quality training from these guys.
Yeah, definitely, and evidence of just how much MMA has grown.
That's a nice shot. He needs to just keep coming out the back.
He timed it perfectly, but those hips there of Tristan McGraw, man, his reaction time is quick to stuff that takedown.
He needs to check those kicks.
Yeah, he's staying busy on that lead leg.
And don't reach for it, because when you start reaching for it, that's when they can switch it up and go high. I think Mark's timing on the shots were good. He's just not finishing.
He just got to finish it.
Spinning back kick to the body.
And then what Mark needs to do is just earn some respect. You're going into the last 10 seconds. You might be down on the scorecard, so just land something.
3 big knees to the head right there to end that.
That bell right there definitely saved Mark there.
But Mark does seem fine. It doesn't seem like it actually hurt him or anything like that. He's walking tall, still confident.
Tristan McGraw starting to open up there to end that first round. And that's something he's going to have to be, like you said, he's got to get in there, earn some respect, and put a dent in him.
Yeah, you don't want to allow, like I said before, Tristan McGraw's confidence to build. As he's just coming forward, he feels as though, anything and everything that he wants to land, he's going to be able to do. And he's keeping this thing steady. He hasn't shot it not once for a takedown here. And then he knows that he can stuff all the takedowns that
Tristan McGraw is going to be content to stay at that range that that he's at and just pick him apart. I think he's got, the length of limb advantage. Their trunks are about the same size, but the arms on Tristan McGraw and legs just look long.
Yeah.
And back to the action here in the second round of this bantamweight fight. Both fighters in here looking to get busy. That first round, in my opinion, went to Tristan McGraw. But let's see what in the corners there of Mark Juarez. What do they tell him is going to be the difference maker? What adjustments are he going to make going into the second round?
I think Mark is seeing stuff and he's throwing good stuff, but Tristan's seeing it a little bit better.
Yeah, it just seems like he's always just one step ahead, especially when it comes to those takedowns.
There's a good overhand there from Mark.
If I know Julian, I feel like on the striking, he would tell him, when you're throwing the strikes, sit on them a little bit and really, step on each of those strikes. And then when you shoot, keep driving, don't stop. Put him off balance. Test his balance a little bit and start working, put him on the cage. Put your weight on him. Make him hold you.
Well, Tristan fully stuffed that takedown attempt and is looking to work the back of Mark Juarez right now. Lets him up.
And he's standing over top of him because he wants to hit him when that's smart by Mark. But now what I think he should do is use that single to get back up. High single, get back up.
Yeah.
Oof. Dove at his body with a knee.
Oh, got to be careful with that knee to the face.
Yeah, that was close. That's close.
He's pushing it.
It is not past November 15th.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not. But even then, if your knee's on the ground, you're down.
Well, after November 15th, that will matter.
Even if your knee's on the ground? So what is down now? After November 15th? What is down now after November 15th?
Now that you can strike someone that is on the ground.
I thought there was a specific rule to it, but okay.
I'll be corrected if I'm wrong.
But it seems like Tristan is kind of taking control of this fight. Mark needs to disrupt that. Do something, get a combo off and then put Tristan on his heels to start taking control of this because Tristan is gaining confidence. And like Miles said, the last thing you want is a fighter to start gaining confidence. That was a nice switch kick, and now Mark should follow it back up because he threw that switch kick and kind of let Tristan just take it and then readjust.
Yeah, Mark Juarez is still standing there toe-to-toe, but it just seems like everything that Tristan is throwing, he's always just, it seems to be just one step ahead of the game. And Mark needs to, tie up, needs to string together along more punches to establish combinations.
Yeah.
One or two quick punches at a time is not going to get the job done.
Oh, that was a nice check.
Yeah, he's bouncing around. That left lead leg there of Mark Juarez looks pretty banged up. And he's circling into the, I don't know if you read it, but circling into the power of that right power kick there of Tristan McGraw. You want to circle away from your opponent's fight. Now he's adjusted. But a couple of those last kicks there, man, he circled right into those kicks, right into that power leg kick.
And with the way that Tristan is following him, it shows that he's not worried about what Mark is going to be hitting him with. And that's why I say it's like he needs to start earning that respect. Because also when Mark is shooting, he's kind of shooting moving backwards. And it's extremely hard to get a solid takedown while you're on your back foot.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine, you're driving your car going, 90 miles an hour forward, and then all of a sudden want to go backwards, or you're going backwards, and, oh, let me switch gears forward. No. It's not going to be productive.
And that's where he needs to be pressing them. And then when Tristan goes and tries to counter, you shoot for the takedown.
Yeah, Mark is throwing. He's active, but it doesn't seem like anything is quite landing. But that head kick, though. But then Tristan gives him a hard lead left hook of his own. I think if Mark is going to end this fight here, if he's going to win this fight, I think one of those right head kicks, is going to sneak through.
Tristan is just beating Mark to the punch for a lot of these.
Yeah. So I looked up the rule, and I've had a total misunderstanding of what it is. It says a fighter shall be considered grounded and may not be legally kneed or kicked to the head when any part of their body other than their hands or feet is in contact with the canvas.
Okay, so if they're on the knee, yeah, you're grounded. But if you have your
how is that different?
I think before it was like load bearing, weight bearing.
Yeah, load bearing. If your hands are weight bearing, then you're technically grounded. So if you're in like tripod, then you're grounded. But now if you're in tripod, they can just go and kick you in the face. But if your knee's on the ground, nothing has changed with the knee on the ground.
Okay.
So they really just made it, your knee's on the ground,
so the people didn't just reach over to touch the mat. That was the game you'd see play, right?
Yeah.
Because in all the fighters meeting, it's like, hey, if you're playing the game, you're going from touching the ground to back, and you get hit, that's on you. Now they're like, you can't even play this game anymore. And if you remember Gegard Mousasi versus Chris Weidman, that's what happened. He had his hands up. Gegard was like lifting him up and kneeing him. One of them was kind of iffy, and then Chris tried to say it was he was down. Just for all those guys listening, we're discussing the new rules that are coming in place November 15th about the grounded opponent.
And the 12-6 elbow, that's another one.
Yeah, does that mean can John Jones go back and appeal his one and only loss?
I'm pretty sure he has. We're checking out the eye of Mark Juarez.
Third and final round here. Tons of sweat there, screwed up.
But Mark needs to not be backing up as much because Jordan is extremely confident and he's been walking you down this whole time.
Exactly. He's backing up and circling into the power there. And then Tristan with some head kicks of his own.
Like, I know you can't hear me or anything like that. Tristan is doing what he needs to do, but what Mark needs to do is bite down on his mouth guard and send some shots. Stay in good positioning. Don't open yourself up, but you have to make Tristan think twice about stepping into your range.
And he needs to circle to his right. I don't know why he keeps on circling to the power side. I don't know if it's because Tristan is southpaw, so 90% of the guys that you spar with at your gym, if he's switching his stance, but then he's back to orthodox now, though, so I don't know why he's continuing to circle that way.
And right there, like after that kick, he should have been right back on him. He blocks, and then you go right back. It's the second series of striking, and right now, Mark is letting Tristan go first and last. Or Mark sometimes will go first, and then Tristan is going second and third, which is allowing for Tristan to control the pace of this fight. And that's where I say Mark needs to keep going forward. Tristan is looking great in this fight. His jab is looking snappy. His low kicks are good. Body kicks are strong. And then he's mixing up going to the body as well.
Yeah, Mark has just not been able to land something to effectively interrupt this kind of like target practice that Tristan is on.
And it's hard, man. Once a guy gets in that flow state, gets confident, it's hard to shake them and get them out of it. So that's why it's like you kind of sometimes have to just abandon. It's like, I'm just going to hit him. That's one of those points where it's like, now we're just fighting. It's like game plan, whatever. I'm going to fight you now.
Even when Marquez shot on him and tried to change levels, as I'm looking at that lead leg that is blistered of Mark Juarez, Tristan has been able to stuff those takedowns, which just has to be kind of confidence crushing.
Yeah, Mark hasn't even shot in for a takedown in this third round yet. I don't know if that's because the first 2 rounds it was unsuccessful, or he knows, I'm down 2 rounds to them and I need a knockout.
And I think one of the things that are taken away from the effectiveness of Mark's strikes is he keeps throwing his head down. He's swinging his head down. He's not in a good position. He's kind of almost stumbling over with some of the shots. Right there, he looks great. I want to see him keep that up. But then the thing with when he's throwing his hands, he's not really landing with anything.
Yeah, it's like, it's quick, it's fast, it's out there, but there's not enough power behind him. He just needs to step in maybe just like an inch more there to make contact. And that's also true to the acumen there of Tristan McGraw, man. His head movement, every time Mark is coming down with strikes, see, just right, just a simple pull back there. Tristan just always seems just one step ahead of the way.
And Tristan is sending some of those shots. A lot of them, they haven't landed fully, but it's like you can see the intent is there. And when a fighter realizes that you're not throwing with serious intent to hurt them, it's like, okay, I got this. Because no matter what, the first few seconds of the fight, both of us are a little bit timid. We're worried. It's like, okay, what are they going to throw? But as this fight has gone on, Tristan has showed that he's like, I'm not worried about it. I'm not stressing it. And I know Mark can hit. So I feel like he's just got to trust it because he only has 45 seconds left.
Yeah.
And he needs to get a finish.
He needs to bite down and just go forward. At this point, you have nothing to lose here.
I'd even say abandon the kicks, put some punches behind it, and then go back to the kicks. Because he's shown that his kick defense is good. So you're going to have to disrupt his defense with the hands and then get that kick in there.
And that lead leg of Juarez is busted up.
Yeah.
Tristan going to get a...
for a takedown of his own to secure.
And sometimes you can find it in the midst of I'm just going to bite down and start fighting. And then you see what's working a little bit, and your coaches will go and give you that feedback. It's like, hey, what you're doing here was getting you success. Keep doing it.